Welcome to the Action Shooting Show. I'm going to do a quick gear breakdown for Legion, 2025 Legion. And this is the gear I use. I'm not saying that you should use this gear. I've just had people kind of ask. I'm going to do one. I'm going to try to get Mike to do one. And just give people an idea of like what worked for this match for us. For, I guess, context to it, Mike won Operator this year. I think that's his 4th or 5th Legion win. He's a wealth of knowledge. He doesn't win because of what gear he uses. He's a great shooter. He's a fast competitor on the course. But you still got to have the right gear to get the job done. So, let that kind of be some context. I actually was fortunate enough to come in 3rd this year. This is my highest finish in a match. But I've been doing this a long time. I've kind of figured out what works and what doesn't out there. You'll have to excuse me. I may clear my throat a little. I completely lost my voice running shooters as RO on Sunday. Just the cold and then running up and down a hill and sucking in and yelling at competitors. I'm still getting it back. So, yeah. So take that for what it is. So, we're going to go head to toe here. So this was the first match for me to use these. These are the Isotune Advanced Bluetooth. I've just got these. I've just been getting used to them. What I'll say is I got the ones that are corded, that are combined, because I've lost in-ears before out in the course. And these have a little thing that goes over your ear. So if you're going to have cords, it's easy for them to get kind of pulled loose. And that little over-the-ear thing kind of helps. The goal of these, I've normally wore foamies. This has some active amplification so that when you're off the clock, you can hear the ROs. And then when you're shooting, it dampens. I'm still learning them. I didn't quite get that active working quite right or loud enough. But they're not so sound dampening that I couldn't hear the ROs. And I shoot suppressed, so it's kind of not as big of a deal if they're not like super, super sound absorbing. Because my rifle is quiet enough. That's not really an issue, and pistol seems fine. So for this match, I did something a little bit different. So this is my older Haley strategic rig. I really like this. I almost stripped down to something a little bit less, like a Spiritus style. Because for this match, I only carried one rifle and one pistol in the chest rig. Normally, I carry most of my ammo on my body and a little bit on my belt. So for this match, I just carried a single rifle, single pistol up here. Kind of an emergency reload, if you will. The other thing, which I'm going to have to tilt the camera down just a little, is I carried one of these Magpul DACA pouches. This is a trick Mike kind of showed me last year. It's carabinered onto the bottom. Kind of acts almost like a dangler. And this is where I kept my intel notes. So I kept a marker. I kept the paper and some maps in there. I had printed out some maps of the course from a previous match. So it wasn't the exact course we were running, but I kind of had a lay of the land so that if I got lost, I would have a little bit better idea of finding where I'm at and maybe where things are at. So I had shot Midnight Madness out there, uploaded my track into there, and we followed some of the same stuff. We did some stuff I think a little bit different. I haven't compared yet, but that was something I did just in case. So kind of minimal. I do carry a paint can type opener as a extraction tool if a round were to get caught in there, and then I did carry a knife as well, which I didn't need. I do like having, the big reason I wore this is I do like having GP pouches. So, like for instance, I got GoPro video of this. One of these mag pouches held my camera, and then I still had pouches for trail snacks and other things that I may need on the course. So, this is not huge, but this is what gets used the most for me because it has the most amount of versatility. Also new for this match, and this is something I don't normally switch gears before big match. I just picked up one of the HRT Arc 2 belts. So this is the second 2.0 version of the Arc belt. So far, I really like it. It worked well in this match. I got a couple setup things I'll probably do different, but it's fairly thin, it's fairly light, but it's still, because of the Tegris, it's still very, very rigid. I recently switched this as well. So I've been using a Safariland, but I've had it mounted straight to an ELS belt. So because I switched to this, I actually put a small offset on it. It didn't bounce around like I thought it would. The Staccato I use is kind of heavy, but it worked well. So pretty minimal here, especially because this is new belt. I'm switching things over. I had a single pistol mag pouch and a single rifle mag pouch, and specifically the rifle. And I got this. It's got a bungee retainer. I really like bungees. I don't always run them. They're kind of out of the way when I don't need them. But when you're doing things like climbing over, climbing things and hanging upside down and doing obstacle courses, it can be nice to have some bungee retention, as well as the little Kydex retention in there. I've got a Wilder Tactical kind of blowout kit in the back here, which thankfully I've never needed, but it's there. And while I didn't use them there, I keep this, I think this is Haley Strategic thing hook or something, and then some gloves. I don't like to shoot in gloves if I don't have to, but there are obstacles and different things. It's nice to have gloves, and honestly, they don't weigh anything, so you might as well have them with you if you need them. So set that aside. That's kind of the most of the frontline gear. I did run in like a t-shirt, and I had a thermal top on that I could roll up. I ended up rolling it up because it got a little bit warmer on RO day than I was expecting. And then just some of the Wrangler ATG pants. A lot of people are probably familiar with those. Those are pretty good for running gun. And then a pair of trail running shoes. Even though I was doing the operator of the Ruck division, generally still running trail running shoes. So I've got pretty, from trail running and rucking a lot, I don't feel like I need a lot of extra ankle support, and they're pretty lightweight. Next piece of gear, and this is one thing I did a little bit different. So Legion, all of your ruck has to have 45 pounds when you cross the finish line, and that doesn't count your web gear or anything on your body. So one big thing I did different this year is I kept, just like I said, a mag on my body for each gun and a mag on my belt for each gun. So any one time I had 2 rifle, 2 pistol, going into any stage. The rest of the mags I actually put on my pack. So this is, I've got the weight removed, the extra weight that I put on. This is an ILBE, just the old Marine Corps rucksack. I have some, pretty simple. I've got a big pouch here, kind of general purpose pouch, that I was able to hold like 5 or 6 pistol mags in. I've got this multicam, just 3 out. This actually had a flap, which I cut those off and attached bungees to, because again, I like the bungees, and those work well. And then if you flip this up, I actually have 2 double mag pouches here. So I have a single mag in each, but these will each actually hold 2 mags if you need them. So most of my mags were on the pack at any one time. Other things, I kept my water in this water, Nalgene water pouch. It's got a little bungee to hold it on. That kind of stayed behind my hip so that it was easy to get to. Generally when I'm rucking, so I've got some extra carabiners on here. They add weight anyways that I need. I've got a really big one if I have to. Normally I have 2 of them on there. I've loaned 1 out, but if I've got to get across something or hold actual human body weight, that's what that's for. The others are like if you got to get, sometimes we'll do like a slack line or something and you got to get your ruck across. Those other ones are kind of ruck weight. And then what didn't come in handy this match, daisy chains, paracord, snacks in the pack, lens wipes, extra eyes and ears, multi-tool, all that goes in that top flap on the pack. So did have an extra shooting bag, didn't need it. But again, if you got to carry weight on the trail, and it's 45 pounds for me is hard to carry 45 pounds of, useful weight without having this pack just overflowing. But I load up all my useful stuff first, try to find as many useful things, and then I load it up with like sandbags for what I can't hit. So that's kind of my ruck. So carrying most of my mags on there was new to me. And it worked out really well. Generally, once the stage was over, before I picked the ruck up, you know, I'd go over there and your heart rate's racing anyway, so it's nice to kind of get cooled down. I would grab and swap, you know, empty mags or partial mags for full mags, you know, get full mags all on my body, and then maybe top off. You know, if one starts emptying, I'll kind of empty them into one, and then just kind of deposited that threw the ruck on and headed to the next one. That worked out really, really well. Especially I had one 40-round pistol, a rifle, that I kind of topped off a couple times, and it really came in handy having, you know, basically a couple 40s without having to carry around a couple 40s. So that ruck is really comfortable for me. It fits my body weight well. I had all the weights, so there's the little divider in it. I actually had all my sandbags in the top, which keeps the weight from being low on my back and bouncing around on my belt, you know, around my belt. It does make it kind of floppy. It doesn't sit down on its bottom because of that. So that's kind of annoying. There's certainly better packs out there, but those are cheap. I think I paid $50 for it, and fairly adjustable, strong. It's really held up to a lot of rucking over the last however many years. So, yeah, I recommend them. The Molly 2 packs, I've got one of those I play with a little bit. Good choice, too. Some people like the Philby. There's a lot of Milsurp bags that you can get for fairly affordable that are good. Mike uses an Eberly stock. I'm sure when he does this video, he'll show you. It's a great, great pack, and it's a great option. Just a lot more expensive. So, moving on. Pistol. This is what I've been shooting the last 5 years. Staccato P, Surefire, TLR1, Streamlight. Actually, this is one of the Harbor Freight copies. My holster needs a light. This is the same body style. If I'm not planning on using a light in the match, like it's not a night match, I just put this on there, and then I can kind of beat on and break a cheaper version than the actual TLR1. So up till this point, I've always just had the TLR1 on there. Holosun 509 T green. That's a little bit newer. I've been using a 507. Went to an enclosed emitter. It's got all kinds of paint on it. Nothing real special. It runs. It's completely factory except for the chambers cut for the dot. And yeah, it's a good pistol. It works, and I've been happy with it. I carried a combination of 26 rounders and 20 rounders, and I've really, this thing's been great to me. I've had no issues in matches with that. So but you know, I've shot M&Ps too. I like the M&P platform as well, but that's what I use for this one. Rifle wise, I carry, this has pretty much been my main rifle now for the last 3 years or so. Just a home built. It's a 12.5. I'm running a Thunderbeast Dominus SR can on it, which is a fat boy, but it's very, very quiet, especially in the 12.5. This is a Run and Gun Tactics bag that is all melted down. He made them for not real high round counts, and I'll be honest, the titanium gets way too hot for this thing, and it's melted the shot cord all over, but it still does what it needs to do for me, so I haven't replaced it yet. I probably will soon. I didn't run this lamb on it. I ran without a lamb because I didn't need one for the match. Faro Concepts Slingster sling, nothing special, just a good sling. The Run and Gun Tactics shooting bag. I think this may be one of his early prototypes, but great for run and gun. Kind of acts as a hand stop, and great for resting on. I rest on this a ton in matches, so Oh, let's see. Aero Precision upper and lower, or Rubber City Armory bolt carrier group, Rubber City Armory ejection port cover, Geissele trigger and charging handle, Geissele safety. I like the smaller double-sided safety here. Rosco Barrel, Sons of Liberty Handguard. I mean, all this, you know, there's nothing special. It's just a home-built rifle. Little bit of forward control groups bling there. That's a pretty good bolt catch. And the bigger thing, I guess, the B5 furniture. And this is an A5 buffer system. So if you're not familiar with that, the buffer is a little bit longer. It's a size kind of between a carbine and a rifle length. Uses a rifle length spring and a special carbine buffer. And it just spreads the load out a little bit longer, or between a longer spring. And it's really nice for running suppressed because I can pop this can on and off. It's a fairly high back pressure can. And the way it's tuned with the buffer and everything, it'll run well with or without the can. Seems to be a little more forgiving of that. So that's generally all the gear. Oh, forgot optics. This is a older Trigicon Accupower. I am a big fan of it, 1 to 8. I've got 2 of these actually. I'm a big enough fan. Burris Fastfire 3 top dot. I didn't have a use for this in the match. I tend to not practice a lot with the top dot, so it doesn't get used a ton. Having said that, I do have it on there because there's shooting situations where it's come in handy. So I do like to have it on there. It's all covered in paint now as well. Kind of beat up. The Stage 6 I was working kind of added some new scratches to all of this. So yeah, this is 0 Delta mount. That's heavy. I wouldn't maybe recommend a lighter one, but that's what I got on it. So really, there was nothing crazy or special about any of the gear I used. I'm an LPVO fan. I think for most running guns, that's probably your best choice. The suppressor, I think it's easier for ROs to call hits when people are running suppressed. I personally like shooting suppressed more. Running gun, there can be some downsides. If you don't have a turned on RO, he may not get the timer close enough to the ejection port. Or if it's not, sensitive enough, it may not pick it up. And if they don't pick up the shot, you may have to reshoot a stage. And reshoots can go for you or against you. And then the other question is, did you bring enough ammo on the course to reshoot it? About that, I brought 200 and some rounds of rifle and pistol. I did not, the round count called for like 90 some of each. I shot a really clean match, probably the cleanest match I've shot in a while, and didn't use anywhere near that. I mean, I had quite a few full rifle mags and quite a few full pistol mags, like completely full, never touched. So that was more than I needed, but I think Sean Murphy once told me, if you're not drowning or on fire, there's no such thing as too much ammo, and I prescribed to that. And I ended up with all the ammo in there. It was like 50 some pounds when I crossed the finish line. So a little heavier, but I kind of had my ruck. I guess I'll explain this. I had my ruck that if every empty mag was in there and all of my gear and no water, I counted to drink up all my water, it would be right at 45 pounds. So I had an extra 5 or 10 pounds or 5 pounds of ammo or something like that. It was not really that big of a deal. So I hope this helps. Hope this was interesting for somebody. If you got questions on what gear I'm using, why I'm using it, feel free to ask. Like I said, there's just your experiences, what you do, how you shoot, what kind of shooter you are. All that really affects what gear that you use and what's best for you. So I have reasons for using what I use. If you have questions on that, feel free to ask. And if not, use what you use. But I hope to see you out here on the range soon.